about today. Now, the topic is winning strategies for business starters. There are some people here that are not starting any business right now. So, of course, I've been in business for 5, 10, 20, 30 years or more. But one of the things that one of the things you're going to learn is if you're going to start your business today, this is how you should start it. And what do you take away from that? If in your growing your business, some of these things you did not start with them, you can find a way to encode it. It's like talking about the genome. For every human being, the reason why you look the way you look and the way I look is because of our genetics. What we are talking about is the genetic sequencing, the building blocks. I think that's what you use. Before I try to move away from mathematics, today will not be biology. So we're talking about the building blocks. So it's like a house built, and then you find that there are certain blocks that should be part of your building that's not there. If you find them here, it's not too late to put them in your business. We say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is now. So there are things we are going to be talking about today. Don't close your mind to that, oh, I've started and that's it. No. There are things, every single thing we're going to talk about today are things that we can learn from and can actually move our business forward. Now, why start a business? We started our businesses for different reasons. One of the common reasons is this, right? You work with a boss, the boss comes in at any time, according to you, goes home whenever he wants to go home. He has his time, he's enjoying. You work, make all the money. The boss actually takes all the money home and like, see, I know how to do this thing. Let me go and start my business. Then you realize that the boss that you said goes home and comes anytime, it's not really that way. Especially if you do not start your business the right way, you do not set the right goal for your business. So, but we have other beautiful reasons why we start a business. You have a passionate idea. There's a problem you can solve. Like I said, for example, Amazon is solving a problem. And the problem is not retail. The problem is distribution. Because Amazon is not selling, literally, they are not selling those, they are not going to sell you the phone. They are not the ones selling the kitchenware or whatever it is. They are just solving a distribution problem. And I would like to say it here, like I've said it before, how valuable your business is to the degree of the kind of problem it's solving and the number of people it is selling that business to. Jeff Bezos is one of the richest men in the world. That's the founder of Amazon. And it's because he's solving a global problem, a global distribution problem. You want to buy a phone now, you can go on Amazon and then order for the phone. And in a matter of days or a week or 2 weeks, you get your phone. Do you understand what I'm trying? So we're solving a problem, we're adding value. Your business is adding value. Now, the flip side to all the things I'm saying is that the question is that, is my business actually solving a problem? Do you understand? I think all businesses solves a problem. That's how you have customers. But the question is, what kind of problem is it solving? I'd also say this, how easy is it to solve the problem? What I want to say about that is that the easier it is to set up your business, the more the competitors you will have. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If your business is just buy water and sell it, like in my estate, there's someone who started selling dispenser water and then pure water. And before I knew it, on the estate group, somebody else puts on the group that if you want to buy your water, come to me. And then one day I was passing and I see the truck that supplies them water, goes to the first apartment, drops it, and drives down and drops it at the next one. Because it's so easy to set up. If the woman who is selling the water sets up a pure water, a bottled water making factory, do you think it will be easy for the next woman to set it up? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I'm still going to talk to that as we move along. So you're solving a problem. You're adding value. The reason why you should understand the value you're adding is that most times when you're trying to sell your business, this is what you are communicating. Do you get what I'm trying to say? What you're communicating is the value that you're adding. And From time to time, and as we are sitting and when we leave here, you want to go back and reevaluate the value your business is adding. The more value you add, the more appealing you are to your customers. So you have a primary value, you bake cakes and the likes, and that is value already, or bread. And you decided to say, okay, I want to add other flavors to it. You have added value to the primary one. You bake bread, your customers come to get bread, but you want to add another one. So you want coconut bread, strawberry bread, vanilla bread. I don't know if all those ones are possible. Do you understand? But we have banana bread, right? Just add the flavor. That is value added to the value. And while saying this just came from, and I should say it. Now, even when you are trying to evaluate your pricing, maybe by reason of the fact that what you currently charge would not even run the business and let alone give you profits. I always advise, and we've learned here too, that long before you increase price, increase value. Is what we have used almost every time we want to review our prices. First, we look at, okay, what can we add to our services? Such that when we add the service, then they are already looking at you that, so this one that you added this today, when I get to where I'm going to pay, am I going to pay more? And they get there and they pay the same amount. It gets them thinking. So next week or 2 weeks later, when they come back and then they see the additional fee, because you've given them time to enjoy the value. Now, most of them will want to pay for it because they've enjoyed it at the previous cost, but now you've added money to it. I'm going to tell a story. It came to mind now. And for some reasons, at seminars, I remember a lot of my time at Tolu Medical Center. There was a time we put ACs in all the consulting room. All the consulting room had AC. So I was consulting this patient on this particular day. It was the first time the patient came in, the AC was on. And at different times, he would say, doctor. We'll continue talking. He would say, doctor. As he kept saying, and I had to ask, why have you repeatedly said doctor? Say, this one will now put AC for you. Do you get? Because that's value. We improved on the comforts of the patient while seeing the doctor. And the natural instinct is that, I'm getting more, so I most likely will pay more. And we didn't add to the fee. Do you understand? I just feel like I should drop that for somebody while talking about value. Long before you increase your pricing, increase value. Increasing value might just be improving on customer care. Sometimes you don't need to pay for something extra to increase value. Improving on customer care is improving value. Now, we are in the healthcare system. One of the things we do is that most of our customers are coming in and they have one ailment or the other. So they are already, in terms of their emotions, disturbed. By virtue of engaging with the doctor or other members of the healthcare personnel, their privacy will be invaded, possibly through examination or you're taking samples. Is that right? What is the best thing you can do to them? Maintain their dignity while you're doing that. It's like it was a game changer for us, because you know that they will feel in a certain way. So don't treat them less than how they already feel. You understand? When you're sick, you're not happy that you're sick. There are things you want to do, you cannot do it. But you get to a place where everybody consistently and saying about the same thing to comfort you will make you feel comfortable. Next time you need help, where will you go to? You go to the same place. So value, really, maybe this is for someone like pastors will say, I don't know why I'm here, but value, in fact, but that's the most important thing, is value. When you're trying to negotiate with your customer, and I've said that before, and I say your price is too much, don't say that you don't know what the economy is. Don't say you don't know what the price for fuel is. Talk about your value and talk about how you need more money to maintain that value. You have said the same thing without talking about those things, because the customer discussing and trying to negotiate know all the things they are talking about. That customer also runs a business and is using the same thing to increase their prices. But when you try and rise up, because you take away the negative emotions and you try and say, then the customer says, really, this person is trying to maintain what I get from this transaction. But in order to maintain it, it needs to increase, or she needs to increase the price. Yes, but this is also a good, it's a good reason. And that's why we talk about the fact that, and it was the last session that we talked about automating business. Yes, and this is it. You can't take control of your time, of your life, if you're not running a business that can run without you. Like we said the last time, a good number of people got out of paid employment to run a business to become the boss, but realize that what they have done is self-imprisonment. Because they built, literally, you can imagine it. You are in the inside the house, and you are laying the blocks. You are laying the blocks. There's no door. And when you are done laying the blocks, say, I've finished building this room. Let me go out and realize that, see, you've imprisoned yourself. And like I said the last time, for those that are not here, the simple trick is also to undo what you have done. Now you are going to create your business, or create in such a way that you are outside the room. And we talked about that last time. And those things are like document the processes, employ the right people, and then delegate those things and coach them. Just like the coach outside the then of course, how many people like this? Money is sweet. A lot of money is very sweet. Then of course, create jobs. And this is a noble thing. You set up a business, you start to employ people, you create jobs. It's a source of living for them. And it's important, if you are owners of businesses or employers of labor, you should actually give yourself a pat on the back for this. Beyond all the other things which might look like they come to you, this actually affects a lot of families. And we should also understand that beyond being serious about business to make money, also because we want to ensure that those people who have jobs don't lose their jobs, and also we can create more jobs, we should be serious about how we run our business. And lastly, a legacy. And I think beyond building wealth and all of that, you want to leave a legacy. Long after you have gone, you actually are still remembered for what you started. There are a lot of generational businesses. We don't have a lot in Nigeria, whereby the families that started them. And in fact, their whatever great grandfather or grandmother actually started those business, and their descendants are still beneficiaries of that. Not just them. We all in the world actually benefiting from products of those businesses. Now, and this might be the most important part of the presentation, this slide. Now, there was something I wanted to say here. Let me say it again. When you start a business, and we've talked about it under automating, but always think of your exit from that, your exit strategy. Now, exit strategies might mean different things to different people. Now, especially our tech guys these days will create a software, and then they solve a problem. They'll show it to investors that these things actually work, and they sell it off to them. We know about the story of Flutter Wave. We don't. Okay, there are some young guys that are billionaires now because they create. And what did they solve? They solve payment problems. And another thing which I should say, and from their story, is that there are problems you can solve very easily because you are small, and you can think about the bureaucracy or the bottlenecks you need to go through in order to experiment and try your product, and not as much as the bigger company. And that's what happened with Flutterwave. Because before, the traditional banks will get approval to try and look at how can we make payments easy, they had the whole setup. But those other guys just were able to solve the problem, and they sold it for hundreds of millions of dollars. Do you understand? So that's exit. But that exit does not come every. So that's not the exit I was talking about, is the exit I started with, such that you can exit yourself out of the business, but ensure that the business still runs. I felt I should say that. Now, the next thing I want to say, so the first thing is start the business, think of your exit strategy. The next one is, and I had a master class on Saturday, and they asked me a question. I said, if you have any entrepreneur who is just starting out in business, what is the one thing you will tell them? And this is what I tell them. And that's what this slide is saying. They must be a student of their business. And that's what this is saying. And I'm going to say that to us. How many times have we sat down to look at our business? look at the sector in which that business is running, and trying to understand what we are even doing, what we have created, and try to learn of what we're doing. If you don't take anything out of what we're talking about today, two things. First, automate business exit. Second is to become a student of your business. And that's what this is. See, become a man under construction. And then do not abandon the construction site. Stay on that site. For whatever business you're doing, whatever business you're about to start. Now, if you just want to start a business, and we've learned this, Dr. Lamtoye has told us about this. Most times, the first thing we seek when we have an idea is capital. And when I talk about capital, there are different kinds of capital. We're looking for money. I call it capital. That's what the first thing we think, because you've thought of it, so I need a shop, I need some equipment and all. But we leave out the most important capital, which is knowledge capital. The first thing you do before you set up any business is to know everything that you need to know about that business. How many of you remember the story of how he started the hotel business? He bought how many books? 10 books on running a successful hotel, read all the books, and picked out 2 that I felt was really important and practical, and gave it to the first set of managers that ran the hotel. Because he practiced what he's taught. You need to learn. The more you know, you realize that the less you have to spend to start. In fact, the more you know about your business, you then understand there are things you felt you need to spend money on, and you realize that you actually don't need to spend money on it. What am I saying? There are people in this room that have plans to run some businesses and they've not started. But what they've not realized is that they have everything to start now. But they are still waiting for funds to buy things they really don't need to start. So, but what is important to all of us here, either you started, you're about to start, or you've been running your business for so many years, is to stay on the site of construction. You keep learning. And that's what we do. At least, the very least, once every month, we gather together and we have conversations on important principles that can move our life and also our business forward. So please, if you can keep this image in your head, look for another image of construction and say that I am and I must remain a student of my business. Because you also ask yourself questions. Like I said, how can I add value? When we leave here today, that's what you should do. Like he said, principles work when you walk the principle. Head knowledge is not what we need, it's what we do. So when we leave here today, say, how can I add value? Let's not forget, you might not even be increasing price. What value can I add to my business? How can I make the processes in my business seamless? Such that from when my customer engages my business, either by phone, if you run an online business, or they go to your website or to your sites, your account in any of the traditional social media platforms that we have, to speaking to one of my staff or myself, to engaging with us, getting the product, and then speaking to them and getting their feedback about after sales service. What are the values I can add there? You will accept with me that if you sit down one day and try to first break down your business to the different parts, and you take one part per day, what value can I add to it? By the time you are done running through the whole value chain of your business, everything from when they call you to when you are calling them back to find out how did you find the product, you realize that you'll be able to find at least 10 to 20 things you can add. Then the next thing is to now sit down, take each one and see how can I develop it, and then plan how do we add everything, because you might not be able to add everything at once. In fact, it might not even pay you to add everything at once, because you might just, when you start adding, that is how you can do what I said, I think 2 seminars ago, that when the customers keep coming back, they should always find something new about your business. I just told you the secret of achieving that. As there should be something new about your business. There should be something new about you. I take it literally like that. For fact, people who were our customers a year, 2 years ago, when they come and peradventure I'm in the hospital and they see me, sometimes they are not sure if I'm the one. Maybe because of the beards. But the way I dress also is different to work. And I have that very fun. There are times that it's all shirt and this, sometimes it's all native, sometimes it's crops. I'm in the scrubs space. If I'm in the hospital, I'm going to see work or just to, I'll just wear my scrub. There should be something about you, there's something different about your business. I said to you that I spoke with someone at the beginning of the year that he told his employees that when you go on leave and you come back and you meet us the same, you can go back. I've not seen anything as audacious as that. As in, it's a different thing for customer. You that you work here and you meet the same thing. But that is what can solve and make it very easy. Break down your business into units and look at how do we improve on the value for each of them. And then, lastly, there, is one of our major cardinal goals here, is that this, what we've talked about, is the purpose of personal development. When you change, everything changes. How many of you have heard that quote before? When you change, if you are looking at something is not changing, and you want it to change, you change. You will see that thing will change. First, your way of thinking about that thing changes. So what you're seeing is different if you change. For example, there's I'm trying to think of what example. Okay, someone hurts you. Someone actually does something that makes you feel bad all the time, feel bad, and then one day you learn something about forgiveness. And forgiveness has nothing to do with the person you are forgiving. You are setting yourself free. If you change that way, the next time you see the person, would you still feel hurt? But because you have changed, that thing has changed. That person did not change, but your perception of that thing has changed. So if you change, everything will change. And to add to that, lastly, we talk about everything rises and falls on leadership. And we said here that the business will rise to the level of the capacity of its leader. So personal development, there's always a way we come back to this in all of our seminars. Personal development is very, very important. Sorry, we're still in introduction. Okay. So vision. So you're starting, like even the Holy Book says, so you write the vision, make it plain. So whoever that runs will read it. You should have a goal. Why, like I said, and I started, why are you starting the business? What's the goal of your business? And we always talk about setting big, hairy, audacious goals. You have to generate serious ambition. Because if the goal of your business is just to buy and sell and have some little money, there's no need for all of these things. It's very basic, you can get it. But if you are looking at the problem you are solving, you want to solve it, I want to ensure that your product is in every room or every household in Nigeria, then you know that you need serious ambition for that. So what is the goal of your business? So it's just like this. Just think of whatever your goal is and then expand it. Make it global, make it nationwide. Your goal must be massive. And then for you to achieve that, you have to seek to be the best in your game. We can only achieve that if we remain a student and we continue to learn. You have to seek to be the best in your game. As in, be regarded as a legend. In sports, most of the people who call legends are people who played sports at the highest level in the best clubs or country and played it till the time that they retire. They are referred to as legends. So in your community, in your area, in where you're doing, if they are talking about players in that sector, do they mention your name? If they don't be worried. Don't feel bad. They just don't know yet. But you are working, right? You are working. When we started our business, I used to take the money. I'm the one that used to, the first 1 or 2 months, I'm the one that take our sales to the bank. And then sometimes I have to wait 2 or 3 days before we have enough to even take. But each time I walk, and I usually, it's about 20 minutes walk, I usually like to walk to. But each time I walk into that bank, I say to myself, that I'm walking now, the security man is just saying good afternoon out of courtesy. I most likely will have to go and stand in and queue. I say a day will come. When I come here, they will clear the way for me. After a while, I will not have to come again. As I was coming now, I still stopped by one of the branches of the bank, that we bank just here. There are a lot of people sit there. I just went to meet the person I need to meet. It took me straight to where I have to go. They did what, like I said, I didn't spend up to 5 minutes. But there was a time I would have to go and sit down where everybody else is sitting. But it was a goal I set for myself. And I will say to myself, as I'm walking there, I say, I'm walking in now. They don't know who I am. a time will come when they mention my first name, they will know who it is or who he is. That's a goal to set. Some people say it's pride. Please, prouding. Be prouding. Do you understand? You have to be. Because, see, you are not paying all this price to be amongst the many. We said last seminar that entrepreneurs are people who will do what others don't want to do early, so that later in life they can then have what others don't have. So we are paying the price. And when we set those goals are like fires in the furnace of achievement. They keep ringing and burning night and day. But your ambition, if your goal is not big enough, you might just be sleeping every day. You know that however it is, you will achieve them. Think big, believe big, act big, achieve big, generate big plans. You understand? Generate big plans. And we've said it so many times that when we talk about these big things, that's the future you have envisioned. Then break it down. By the time you break it down, you can draw the map to where you are. And once you have that map, you know what to do. And from time to time, go back to it. It's the same way we create business plans. Most people don't create business plans except they have to go and take loan from the bank, and the bank asks for, or they are pitching for something. But I think it's something we should do. You understand? Have a business plan, have a business goal, have a marketing strategy, a financial projection, and then every time, from time to time, look at where you are, look at what you are making, look at what your projections are, and see how how close you are to them. In 20,000, I think 18 or something, we did a financial goal and projections and all of that in 2018. And then at that time, it looked like, see, all these things are like, see, they're just there and out of the world. A few years down the line, I think 2 years or 3 years down the line, and I just stumbled on that document that we created. I have a friend who's in consulting. We just sat down, had a meeting, and did all of that. And I look at the financial projects, and we across all those things. You understand? So one of the advantage of also doing those things is just the same way we say you write your goals and you write it down. You understand? Writing it down it's another form of prayer on its own. And then things start to happen in the environment, which you will continue to respond to. And then before you know it, you have that. Duplicate and multiply yourself and serve more. Automate your business, have multiple streams of income. Do it now when you create a business and you automate it, what you have created is a prototype. Then you can then just plant and replicate the prototype in other places. Yes. So I said this, you have the goal. This is what you want to be. This is where you want to be. And you can have all those conversations like I always like to have here. Well, how do you start? Start small. It's easier to start small, right? It's cheaper to start small. It is simpler to start small. But when you start small, it gives you the opportunity to test run it. Peradventure, it does not work out. The collateral would not be so much. As opposed that you invested 35, 50 million in a business, and at the end of the day, and it might just fail, not because you wouldn't have succeeded, but because you didn't start small. So the consequences of your mistakes are now much more than when you start small. Volunteer, do apprenticeship. Running a hospital became easy for myself and a lot of us here because we had the opportunity to do this. One of the things I learned early, and I figured out very early when I was working with Tolu Medical Center, which is one of the hospitals of our president, is that I have found in a man someone who is willing to give me the steering wheel of his business. However, with the cushion of decades of experience. Do you understand? So I've been given the steering wheel of a BMW that has a lot of power and can go very fast. But he's seated next to me. And that BMW is automated. I don't even need to press anything. All I need to do is just direction. That's what I found out. I'm not the one driving the engine. The engine is automated. The engine is moving. Tell me where is the best place to actually do apprentice? That's it. I don't have to go and pour oil and still come back. No, I'm just in the steering wheel, like, see, Don't turn yet. There's a sharp bend here, so you have to turn very fast. Turn. Oh yeah, stop. That's it. So while I'm doing that, I'm also studying what's going on in the engine. So it's not, I'm not sweating to learn. Everything is going smoothly, but I'm learning and I'm seeing how each part fitted. And it was so sweet that I didn't realize I was learning so much because we're just doing everything, and it happened that I had to move from one of the branch to a new branch where I didn't grow with them. I just went to meet them. It was at that point I realized I've learned a lot because I started implementing those things, and I saw that they were responding because, of course, like I said, they've been used to the system. But it helped my psyche, it helped my belief because they were responding to those, and I was seeing results, seeing results. So one of the best way is actually volunteer, do apprenticeship. I think it was a cousin did a program in tech and needed a job and was looking for a job. And from what is one of Dr. Abib's book about the woman, about the graduate NYC, and went to volunteer in the school and started to teach, and that's how he encountered where he got his job. So I just told him, that's what, please go and volunteer. And I spoke to one or two friends, oh please, I have someone to volunteer, don't worry about paying and all that. And that, I know, we found out that in that space, one of the reasons, the easiest way for you to get a job is if you have a portfolio. That means the amount of jobs you've done. So by volunteering, I think in 6 months, he had done so much that he was able to get his job. And from there, of course, he's been doing and then moving from one industry to the other. So volunteer. You want to start a business. Is there any big player in your environment? Is there any major or someone you like the way they do? You can go and volunteer. A lot of people will first, they'll look at you like, okay, are you sure? Are you sure? But it's free labor. They most likely will take you, especially if you have the right attitude. Do apprenticeship. Start small. Like I said, it's easy to correct small mistakes. If you make mistake, it's easy because it's small. And the best way to grow is grow slowly, growing organically. Because as you grow slowly, you improve your own capacity to manage that level. Once you are good with that and your capacity rises above that, the business will move again. It will move. That way it's easier than you grow from a business that engages 100 customers in a month to a business that is now engaging 10,000 customers in a month. That business will have serious problem because they might not have the capacity to handle that. Great haste leads to great waste. And then, of course, like we talk about, avoid borrowing mentality. Starting small will also help you start without even borrowing. Because sometimes, and like it's a joke most times they say, when you go to financial institutions or when they come to you to give you money, and I think it was Dr. Otusanya, was it that, okay, was you, Savi, that also told us about how they come to give you the money. Even when you don't need, they make it attractive. The bank I just left, they still told me that there's money, Oga, do you want money? But I remembered again, I said, no, I don't want money. Yes. So they come smiling and all of that, and the day they want to collect their money, it's a different demand. And yes, and like Chairman says, if he borrows money, he can't sleep at night. So I think we want to avoid borrowing as much as possible. Then starting small. You see, there's a book, Lean Startup. I think you should read that book too. You want to start lean. You don't need so much. The employees you need to start, not so much. Let me give you an example of an advantage of starting small. When we started the hospital, we started with 6 nurses. They were running 3 shifts. Unknown to me, there was a nurse in the area I met who helped me source for these nurses. Actually, those nurses, 4 of them, 3 of them were working in her own hospital. I didn't know. So she arranged such that when they are on duty here, they're off there, and I think maybe they have an agreement of sharing money. So in that first month, I found one of the nurses was not good and the attitude was okay, but she wasn't so good. And because we were so small, I didn't want any issues, and so I had to let her go. Because I let her go, the roster changed, so their off duties reduced, and then there was a problem, and that's when I still didn't know until when I paid them for the month. 3 of them left, and we had just 2 nurses left. But wonderful nurses, I never forget them because they just said, doctor, will just take 2 shifts. I'll take morning, the other person will take night. I was the extra nurse. But we're able to do, because it was the second month we just started, we're able to do that. And it didn't affect us so much because we didn't start so big and have all this thing. And it was just 1 month. The following month, we got another nurse, another nurse, and we kept adding, and then like the rest, as they say, is history. So be patient. Starting small, you have low overhead. So if the money is not coming in yet, you are not under any pressure to be paying salaries. The business is not making. I feel that a business should make, the salary should be about 25% of what you make. That's what I feel. At the beginning, it might not be so. But as much as possible, you want to be close to 50% as much as possible. Not the whole of salary is 75% of what you're making, or 100%, or you're having to go borrow money to actually get. You know, there's this thing that's been said, and a lot of business consultants say that before you start, have 6 months salary before you start. I don't think I even had 1 month salary before I started, but we never thought, we only had 50,000 and after we spent all the money. But that 50,000 to today is like we've not touched it literally. So we've not taken less than 50,000. But what we could do that because we started small and it was easy and we had low overhead and all that. And so, like I said here, it's a small business. Why not start it small? Now, in talking about what you want to do, it's always good that, see, you love what you do what you love. What you do most times will occupy a significant part of your life. Why not do something that you love? Sometimes you say that if what I love is not what will fetch the money, what will solve the problem that will bring the most return, make sure you love it. Do you understand? Make sure you fall in love. Why won't you fall in love with something that brings billions? Right? I don't like sweeping. I don't like sweeping. They're offering $1 billion to sweep the entire street. Will you not love it? You sweep it and you'll be whistling and be singing. Well, your song will just make sure my money is ready at the end of all this. Yes, cultivate a niche. Now there's an exercise, and sometimes we can even look at that, and based on some of the activities we might do in the coming seminars, we might look at how to even cultivate your niche, how to know what your niche are. There are questions you have to ask. Some of them is to know what your gifts are. What are those things that come easily to you? There are things that you can do. They wake you up from sleep. You can do it. And there are things that naturally irritate you. There are things you cannot stand. Sometimes, most times, those things speak to what your niche are. You might be called to solve those problems. You might just think, how do I create a business around this? And then when you discover your niche, you want to read around it. You want to look at how can I convert this interest into passion, and how can I even make it a business? You understand? It's always, we encourage, stick to your gifts, the business, and importantly, become an expert in it. Whatever problem we want to solve, whatever idea we have, there are people who are solving it, maybe not in the same way, or they are solving it, some sort of solving it at some level. It's always also important to study what those guys are doing, how they do it. Because while studying them, you can then see your own uniqueness in what they're doing. So that when you are coming, because what eyes have seen, eyes has already seen it. Right? What we have seen, they've created the business. What is coming from you, eyes have not seen it. And you can spend your time in the laboratory of engineering your idea into a business to create and add the necessary flavor so that when it comes, it's unique to what they have done. And sometimes, like we're in that age now, you might come without solutions, especially people in tech, but not only in tech. You might come up with that solution, and then Facebook might look at you and say that, see, I like this, I want to buy it. And then you decide, do I want to sell it off? Is the money worth enough to let me collect the money and then go start another thing? Whatever you decide to do. And then, of course, always reinvent yourself in your game. It still speaks to what I said earlier. Like I said, that conversation about being a student of the business actually resonates throughout the presentation. Yes. Now, we're talking about building experience here. When I talk about volunteering, becoming an apprentice actually helps to build experience. And if you've ever gone this route before, you realize that even though you're starting your business or you're about to start that business, you are not starting that business as a novice. Don't worry, we are going to share these slides on the platform. We're sharing the slides. Now, you realize you're not a novice. The questions that will come from the business, you can easily answer them because you have built experience, not working for free. And the advantage of that is what I said earlier, that you have the cushion of decades of experience of the person you are working with. In fact, you have the guidance, the coaching of the owner of that business, because you most likely like, okay, this is how you do it, or you might work in the department, not necessarily being the one running the place. You might actually work in a department. You have people who are more experienced to teach you how to run those things so they can limit your mistakes. And then, whoever you are working with, convert your boss into a mentor. Don't fight your boss. You understand? Like, and it's perception. Some people work, and wherever you're working, you might feel that, "Ah, my boss is this, my boss is that, and all that." I don't know. You don't appreciate the fact that this boss created this system, has built this thing that is paying all these bills. Is it not in my best interest to work with him or work with her? Is it not in my best interest to be so close that he accepts or she accepts me and then can become my mentor? Because the easiest way to achieve success, one of the, not the easiest, one of the easier ways to achieve a success is to work with someone who models the future you envision. I have not, that's my own now, so you have to go and write. But it's the truth. See, it's like templates, but this template is not on paper. This template is living and breathing. Do you understand? And like what we have in our mentor here, he's not waiting. He's not stopping. Not literally, because he's doing what he said. He's at the back end and then just pressing. And then there are people who are just moving those things. So we are seeing those things, and like what you said, when we come together, we are coming to that energy. You understand? We're coming to, that's what we're gathering, to that energy, that billionaire's energy, whereby you can see that, see, there's someone who is modeling these things. And this person can, and also has packaged those things in the seminars we come to talk about. And then once I apply these things, we can see the results. So faith is not in, well, it's in things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. But literally, you can see in somebody's life who has done those and taken this step. So, and the things you learn, read, and then apply the recommended ideas. We've also said these things. I struggled many years ago because when I read, because studying in medicine, when you study medicine, you read, an exam comes, you must remember and write and pass. And that's where we learned. And when I started reading books, I was struggling because when I read the book, and 6 months down the line, when I try to remember everything about the book, I can't remember most of the things. Then I start like, this thing, I can't go on like this now. Other people that are reading, they know those things. But I learned one thing. See, what's important in any book is what are the ideas you generate from the book. And the fact that you work on those ideas. That's all you need. Because those ideas will change your life. And then you move. You can come 6 months later and say, see, I want to read this book again. And depending on what you have gleaned from the book at the initial time and what you are going through now, what you are going through at the time might determine what you learn from the book. So you can read a book 6 times in 2 years and learn different things each time you are reading the book. Because what you learn, what you glean from the book, might be in response to the questions you have at the time. Do you understand? So if you are in that boat, or you're like me once, that I keep forgetting. No, it's not important. What's important is to actually to read and then apply the ideas generated from the book. And while you are mentoring, if you are volunteering anywhere, if you want to rise to the position of the owner of the business, becoming your mentor, you must be a star in that thing. Do you understand? You must be a star. When I give orientation to my employees, and when I talk to them at meetings, I said, one of the things I found that if you come, you do what we have told you, you don't give us problems, I won't hear about you. I hear about 2 sets of people, the troublemakers and the stars. Those are people they will come to talk to you about, right? Well, I will see the stars. They will come and complain about the troublemakers. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's the difference. And I tell them, see, so you can come and I will never even hear about you. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means that you have done consistently all the things you have told you to do. But I will never forget those who take what you have told them and then take it a notch higher. Those kind of people, they come to me and say, I want you to be my mentor. I will gladly do that. But you're not even the live wire of the team. You are just one of the team. When you approach your boss, like, who is this person? What department? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So if you're gaining experience, and because you know where you're headed, your goal in joining them, then you do everything possible to be the live wire, become exceptional, be an excellent team player, be that oil that allows the different parts of the machine to keep moving smoothly and going on and on. I've mentioned this, so I won't say so much. Copy the expert. Who are the big players in your industry. What are they doing right? Go and understand them. If you can, they might have written books. Read their books. Their customers know a lot about them. You can engage with their customers. That's another secret. People that use their products, that go to them, might even know some things about them. They can tell you a lot more about them because their customers are also your customers. You know that? You engage their customers. If they're organizing seminars, go there. Workshops, go. When we teach from experience. So we are telling you secrets, right? Yeah. You go there, you attend. Whatever they are doing, do it. Simply copy and paste. Most of us that did apprenticeship with either Tolu Medical or Ibadan Central Hospital, what we all do, most people that I know that are successful, that I know, literally copied and paste. There's no shame in doing that. In fact, it's very wise. No, so people might be too proud and say, no, it's not the same thing. There's no shame in it. Literally copy and paste. To make it, fake it. There was a question in one of our seminars, and someone asked, we're talking about hiring, and then somebody asked that, what if the person during the whole process of interview faked it, and you then employ the person? And you know the answer our president gave? It was so profound. It was like, see, all I need that person to do when it comes to my organization to continue to fake it. As it does remain that way, we are good. Well, yes, and because once you fake and try to do those things repeatedly, before it becomes a part of you. We are creature of habits. Just repeat it. Before you know it, it becomes a part of you. Even if you want to go to that old way, your body will tell you that no, it is too late. We cannot be like that again. Focus. The easiest way to dig a hole with while you are urinating is to keep urinating at one spot. The easiest way to bring down a tree, keep hitting at particular spots. You keep cutting off different parts of the wood and until the tree falls. Be focused about one thing. Someone asked me a question, those that were at that master class, and she was like, well, if we're doing something and you have a lot of ideas, what time is the best time to leave where you're going or start doing another thing? If you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch any. Especially if we are just starting, let's start with one and focus all our energy on that one. And you know that there's an exit strategy. That exit strategy means that I have automated the business and it's thriving. And I've, in fact, maxed out the value chain of that business. Then I can say, okay, let me go after the next idea. Because while I'm there, the fear is that you are not there and then there's crisis. You want to run back. So let's be about one thing. Let's be single-minded and also mind our business. And to say this, yes, we talk about opportunities to save, invest your money and all of that. What we teach here, the first place to invest the money that you have saved is in the business that produced the money in the first place, except you don't believe in yourself. Because we can't bank on another person much more than yourself. If you have a dream and you're working on it and you can see the future, you bank on yourself. Invest on it. Improve the value chain. Add value and make more money. Be single-minded. You have to focus on growing, change, expand, develop within your game. You have to continually develop and improve within your game. And beyond being interested in your business, I think you should be committed. It's very important. You should be committed and be aggressive about it. Sometimes the way we have gone, and there are phases in my business that I tell myself that my commitment has reduced because I've experienced a level of comfort and success, and I feel that, let's say, no, we are not where we plan to get to. So you have to be aggressive about your business. And I've mentioned this over and over again, explore the entire value chain of your business. What can this business offer? Every single thing. Let's read about them. Don't think you know. Read about it. There are other people in your sector that are adding amazing things to your business. I love this. This is my best life. Set yourself on fire. We're in this place sitting calmly. If somebody is burning outside, what will happen? Well, maybe for security, we'll lock ourselves in. But the world will come and see a man that is burning and is not being consumed. Ignite your spark. We all have a gift. And it said, and our president has said this to many times to us. What you can do those gifts is an expression of God's love to us. The fact that there are certain things that come to you easily is God's love to you. The way you reciprocate that is what? Upgrade that gift. Because you are born with gifts. There are some people that can talk from now to tomorrow. Some people are good in the art of negotiations. They are very good. Some people are good with when they write. Some people are good with their hands. That people can do a lot. Some people can take different ingredients, and by the time they are done, you're like, wow. You want to tell me this came from this, and this? We all have our gifts. The way we can show gratitude for being given that gift is to improve that gift to world class. Our gifts must get to the level of world class. We said it here, I think it was said today. The natural order of things is to move from good to bad, bad to worse. That's why if you keep food here, open it, and we come back next week, the food will be spoiled. You keep water, you leave it open, it spoils. The natural order of things is to go backwards. So you have to contend, and depending on the level of desire and commitment, to actually go in the other direction. So when you set yourself on fire, people will come to see you burn. What does this mean literally? It means that look at your business. What audacious thing can I do that people will stop and pay attention? So when you're looking at add value, you must think about this. What is that thing? See, like we say, if money is not a factor, if nothing is a factor, what can I do in this business that even CNN will want to come and pay attention to what is going on with this guy? I give a simple example of what we did, because I'm sure people saw online about the surgeries and all that. That is someone burning. You didn't know. That was not the plan. That was not the intention. But that is someone burning. You understand? That is something, because and the whole world came. I had conversations with people that naturally will not have access to, but because of that. So we have to look at what can I do that people will say, wow, I want to understand the mind behind this thing. And that's why this is my best slide. Ignite your spark. Set yourself on fire. And then watch the world watch you burn. And once the world has come to watch you burn, don't worry. You are good. I said that we don't have too many generational businesses in Nigeria. And it's because of the way we set up our business. We don't set up our business with family, with succession in mind. Most times, and I know that happens a lot, and the statistics will tell you, one man business dies with that person, or at most the next generation, and that is the end. So how, and I won't say it so much because we've talked about it so well, and I think the easiest and the simplest thing I'll say is what our president tells us. Your business is your baby. Your biological children, they are your babies. Both of them must be friends of each other. They must be looking at each other. That's one. Number two, at no time should your children outgrow your business. Do you understand? Reason why we might have children who might have not want to have anything to do with the business might be because of one or two things. One, they are bigger than the business. Two, while they were growing up, the business took their parents away from them. Do you understand? So their own memory of the business is the absence of their parents. So their natural inclination is not to have anything to do with that business. So if you are starting a business, you must start it with the fact that they must be playing and dancing around each other. When you are doing things with the business, they should come and see. When they are grown enough to do what we call IT in the business, let them start doing the IT. And they must start from the smallest place. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? In my business, and of course I don't do all those things. When I started business, I knew everything, because when I was an apprentice in Tolu Medical, I was part of everything. The gen, the pumping, if there's a pump, of course, you are the MD, you are in charge. I knew everything. So when I started, when I'm talking to anybody, an artisan, they stop and they look and say, "Okay, are you a doctor or are you a plumber?" I know everything. It's the same advantage of when your child grows through the ranks. So it comes, by the end of the day, it comes and even sitting at, it grows from bottom and it goes to the top. He has interacted with everybody. He knows where the shoe pinches the janitor. Do you understand? So when he's making C-level decision as CEO or CEO or all the C's, he understands where it pinches and can make decisions that will be of value to even the least person. Do you understand? So that is one. Two is that the business principles that you practice, model it to them. We talk about saving, model savings to them. The beautiful thing about me, and I don't have that problem, going into a super, say, you don't take a child to a candy store. The child will pick everything. I can take my children to a candy store. They won't. Not because I went home to beat them, but we have taught them. And also by example. So there are times they look and say, Daddy, I saw a shoe I like, you should buy it for yourself. I say, no, I'm not buying it. And they ask, why? You have the money to buy. I say, I don't need it. And I use those things as learning, teachable moments for them. You don't buy things because you can afford them. You buy them only when you need them. So I did that, and when I went one day, I saw a very nice water bottle. Even I knew that water bottle is very beautiful. So the older one saw it, the younger one saw it first. Whatever I like. Then the older one said, no, you don't need it. That no, we're not buying it. She said, why? She said, because we don't need it. We have water bottle. So we have to teach those things. So in terms of savings, they should do, for now, their level, they have piggy bank. Do you understand? And it's amazing at the end of the year when we open that piggy bank, even you are surprised at how much money they have. And from the piggy bank, you open accounts for them. And then you can have periodically you put money. And I think it was 2 months or 3 months, I showed them the amount in their account. They started working as if that they own the whole world. I'm telling you, in my estate, they were going to do elections, and then some people came to me to be chairman, and I said, no, I don't have time to be chairman. And they told me, so I was now discussing with them in the car, so we're talking about the estate. I said, so Daddy, why don't you want to be? I said, no, I'm busy. That they came. He said, no, Daddy, do it. Just you, I know you don't have time, just be the chairman. Both of them, they will run the show. Do you understand? And they said to themselves that, we have money. It was an interesting conversation. Of course, but I have to guide them back to the fact that we don't save to now unsave. You understand? But it was a good feeling that they had money. Of course, we know that money, once you buy one thing, that money has. But to them, they saw 000, and then there's a lot of money. So we need to start having those conversations. Have money conversations. Have character conversations. You understand? So what you are teaching them, and children, the best way they learn is by observing. All you are teaching them, don't do the opposite. So you're already building businessmen and businesswomen in your children. They should learn the culture of the business, of the organization. Should obey, respect, even as we go ahead. They have to understand there's honor in labor, and they understand those things. You understand? And then the value that you're adding to them, to the business. You also create scenarios where they too can understand value and adding value and the reward of those things. When I was young, I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I'm old, I know that money is still the most important thing in life. Let's have a positive relationship with money. Don't attribute having money or more money to be a negative thing. You understand what I'm saying? Money is good. More money is better. Do you understand? And because sometimes we're not as committed to these things because we don't even love the money that comes from it. There are lots that you can do with what? With money. There are a lot of things you can do with money. You can say, okay, this weekend I want to be in the Maldives. I leave on Friday and come back on Sunday. You have a lot of money. If you have to scrape that money, you might as well just plan it. You can't just wake up one day and say, there are a lot of pleasures that come with it. We are working for these things, but still, we are doing all we need to do. We should accept it. And sometimes when you don't consciously check yourself, when you don't consciously accept this, it might be one of the reasons why we are struggling. Because even in our mind, in our subconscious, we still don't accept that money comes to us continuously from different sources, from diverse means on a continuous basis. We have not accepted that. So money, money, money. There are two stages of life. The first stage, which we keep trying to work on, is when we are working for money. The next stage we must strive to is the point where money starts to work for us. And how do you do that? Is actually, of course, you start your business, you start your enterprises, you automate them, you create multiple sources of income, and then those money starts to work for you. You generate large amount of money. You're even able to put them in some of these financial securities, and they continue to generate money. I think we talked about that before. I'm sure if you have, like I said, you have 500 million at 10% per annum, it's giving you 50 million. You have 1 billion, it gives you 100 million every year. That's another business. That's what, Abi? Is that not another business? Yes. A business that you are not paying tax, you don't have headache of hiring or firing or any government this thing, and it's giving you 50, 100 million a year. You're good, and it continues to add to itself. And the beauty of that is what comes, okay, that comes after this. So we talked about savings, and we talked about it here, and Oga said it to us too. The mindset. I'm sure, I hope a lot of us have crossed from when we see money spending to savings. If you have, you always can cast your mind back and wonder that it was a paradigm shift. Because at some point, when money came, it was what we needed to use money for. But then we moved to a point where when money comes, first, how much am I saving? You understand? Yeah, we talked about save 20% or at least 20% of your profit. At least you must save. You can save more. And you know what? And our business is to be practical. We usually in different phases. There are phases where you might be having constructions. Might be in a phase where you are building on buying more machinery to your business. And in those phases, you might not be able to save. Maybe if you're doing 50% before, you might not be able to save 50%, but you must still ensure that you are saving. And because what you pay attention to expands. When you're focusing on your savings, it naturally would do that. And then what you are doing by saving also is you are creating accumulated funds, which can also continue to give you residual income, like what I talked about in the financial securities. And even your business becomes residual, because active income is when you have to work to get a reward, financial reward. Residual or passive income is you don't even have to do anything, but money keeps coming. And then borrowing to start usually is the fact that you are not willing to start from the beginning. You are not willing to start small. If you are starting small, if you're starting because you've learned a lot and you have enough knowledge capital, then you can start with what you have where you are. And the best kept secret is compound interest. How many of you remember that chart I showed like 3 seminars ago? It's one of the best kept secrets, compound interest. And Albert Einstein actually says the greatest power in the world. Let it be your friend. What do we mean by compound interest? You are saving and you are not unsaving it. So when you save, it generates interest and you compound that interest to your initial capital, and that now forms your new principal, and then you generate interest again. So it's not so much of, oh, I save and I pack all the interest and spend it. Allow it to compound. I showed you a chart the other time and how it increases, I think, geometrically year on year. So let it be your friend. It should not be your enemy. I like this line. I left it there because it talks about to the degree in which you are willing to do the things we have talked about. And that's when we talk about your level of desire. Do you just wish to be a billionaire? Or you want to be a billionaire? Or you are committed to being rich, or it has become an obsession? That is, there is nothing else in the world. What I want to become is a billionaire. At this level, see, everybody here, we are most likely at different levels of this. And most likely what we are getting in return ultimately might be because of where we are on this scale. Because the one who is obsessed, there are obstacles, there are difficulties, there are challenges. Most times it's not as simple as it's said. It's simple, but in reality, sometimes you might actually have setbacks. But the man who is obsessed with becoming a billionaire, nothing, come what may, he is committed to those principles and is committed to working those principles. So at the end of the day, at the end of this year, 5 years time, 10 years now, what we get from all the things we hear and we practice might be as a result of where we are on this level. Do you just wish it? So I just pray, oh God, help me, oh, or I want to, that thing, it's good to be rich. You get, or you are committed to it, or it has become an obsession. Obsession means that you are working on it daily, every day. You are not working in sports. You are not like you work 3 months, then 6 months we don't see you again, or you disappear. Then you come another 2 months, and then you disappear. But if you are committed, you are here every day, and you are doing the work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.